What's up, YouTube? Another review video coming at you from Figure Fanatics. Today we have the UP Fine Figures Red Death Batman from the Dark Knights Metal series. So far, they've released one other figure of this series, the Batman Who Laughs. I did have that figure. I didn't particularly like it. I have no real connection with the Dark Knights series. I didn't really like it. It wasn't for me. That doesn't mean it's bad. Just wasn't for me. But I did want to pick up the Red Death just because I love the look of the Red Death Batman. I love the look of this figure. I was lucky enough to get this a little bit early. It's honestly a really, really nice figure. I mean, up close you can see how beautiful it is and the attention to detail. So far, UPF, or formerly known as LPZZ, so far UPF has done a really good job. They have three other figures: the Batman Who Laughs, as I previously stated. They have the Arkham Batman, which was their first figure, and then the Arkham Deathstroke as well. So when doing comparisons later, I will show off the Arkham Batman and the Arkham Deathstroke so you can see size comparison, height comparison, kind of what they've done in the past versus what they're currently doing, to see if these lines match up and whatnot. All right, let's get into some articulation. This is where I feel like UPF has done some crazy stuff in the figure game. So with the shoulders, you think, it's not very high up. But what you're going to do is you're going to take this shoulder pad. You see it's on a hinge underneath. And I mean, once the shoulder pad is moved, you're getting some pretty good shoulder range here. You might even be able to go up a little higher if you move the shoulder pad some more, but that's about as comfortable as I feel doing. So that's your T-pose there. You have, obviously, double jointed elbows. They are hindered by the forearm gauntlet here, but I think that's good enough for what you need for what this figure does. I mean, he's basically a Flash. All right, so you got the double jointed elbows. You do have swivel from the forearm here, as you can see. You have bicep swivel, which is pretty good bicep swivel here. You have, coming down with the legs, you have thigh swivel. It stops right about there. As you can see, that thigh piece hits the back here. Thigh swivel forward to about here. All right, coming up, comes about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit past. There is no drop down hip, unfortunately, but again, I think for what you need, this figure does more than enough. You have double jointed knees, get you about here. You have some really good ankles here. So the ankles swing wildly side to side. I mean, it's pretty crazy. That's your toe down. That's your toe up. You do have a nice little toe pivot there, nothing crazy. One of the best parts of this figure actually is the way they did this armor, which is obviously beautiful, great sculpting, great work. You take this armor and you crunch it in. I mean, crazy ab crunch. That's before, anything from the middle. So when you want this figure to move, it's going to move. Now, I will say, unlike most figures, the back is a little bit limited. So that's about as far back as you're going to go. But, I mean, that ab crunch forward is really impressive. Now, with that being said, because this figure is so detailed and the articulation is so well, when you get that deep ab crunch, unfortunately, I do have a little bit of rub here from the chest piece coming down over top and rubbing. Not a big deal for me. It's not super noticeable, but it is there, so I just want to point it out. With the head, you get really good range. You're going to get, that's your look up. That's your look, sorry, that's with the neck. That's your look down, not a ton look down, but once you use the neck, look down. That's your side to side, one side to the other. I mean, overall, really good range for this figure. The wrists are peg and hinge, so because of this gauntlet, you're not going to get a ton. That's about what you're going to get. Obviously you could spin it and down and up. But because the gauntlets around the forearm, you don't really get a ton of movement with those wrists. Not too bad though, honestly. I really think it's more than enough, more than what you need here. And I think it looks pretty good. All right. As you can see, one of the issues that it's not really an issue, it's just something you have to be aware of, is this knee to kind of give you maybe a little bit more room. This knee piece here actually swings down off the knees. So if you're putting it back and you're not really paying attention, it can kind of get stuck out here like this. It's just something to get used to. That, I mean, not even a big deal at all. So overall, the articulation on this thing is superb, as we've seen with their other figures as well. You know, I might not have liked the Batman Who Laughs figure, but that thing had great articulation. They did a really good job with the articulation. All right, guys, getting into accessories here. So for accessories, I would say it's nothing crazy, but kind of exactly where it should be. So getting started, you have the head sculpt that obviously I have on, the racer, the speed mask. Okay, let's pop that off and show you the other head sculpt it comes with, which I think is probably one of the best head sculpts I might have ever seen. I like it that much. I think it has that much detail, which is the Bruce Wayne head sculpt. So getting in close, the detail on this thing is superb. I mean, you could see the red speed lines coming up through the cheeks, the scarring, the eyes painted beautifully. There's a little bit of shading to give that 5 o'clock shadow look almost. And I mean, it just matches this figure, the tone of this figure, so well that I actually prefer to have the figure with the Bruce Wayne sculpt on it. I've been keeping it like this for the video. Obviously, I put the other mask on, but I've been keeping it like this, having it set up this whole time. Now, getting into hands, you get 5 sets of hands, including the fists that are on the body. All right. One of the things I like that they do is everything's in pairs. Okay, you don't have any of the weird Marvel Legends stuff where you get one hand of this but not one hand of that. You know, even SH does that sometimes, and I honestly I can't stand it. So starting off, you get a set of reaching or clawed hands almost. I wouldn't say clawed, they're almost like reaching. You get a set of open hands, almost relaxed a bit. You get a set of the speed running hands with the fingers you can see slightly splayed open here. And then you get a set of karate chopping hands, which obviously are for the running. Okay, with the hands, I'm going to try to show you here. Beautiful shading, beautiful detail. There's nice shading between the fingers. There's nice shading on the back of the hand to almost give that veined look. Same thing with the palms. You get a great detail in here, as you can see the marks of the suit going across the palms. I mean, they just really do a great job when it comes to attention to detail. One of the other accessories you get are these bat accessories, these dark bat accessories. You get 3 of them. So there's 2. This is the 3rd here. That you can see they have attachments on the bottom of them that attach into these stand components that seem to be specifically made for this. They are a little bit rubbery, as you can see, but the shading and depth on these is incredible, where they have the nice red tip at the bottoms and sides into a deep crimson or black almost, and they look beautiful. When you have this thing set up with the stand and the bats and in a running stance, I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. So what you have that the stand plugs into that holds the figure and holds all these pieces is this really cool base. The same base came with the Batman Who Laughs. So if anybody's seen any reviews on that, you know that these bases actually open up and you can store almost all your accessories in here. I don't think you could store the bats in here. I don't know if it's deep enough, but you can store your hands, heads, stuff like that. So with that base, you have here, it comes with this magnetic removable Dark Knight's metal, the Red Death. This one says, obviously the one Batman Who Laughs says the Batman Who Laughs on it. with that, it comes with this, which is pretty cool. You know, if you just had them stood on here, uh, all together with the skull pieces. I mean, the detail, the shading in here. They obviously use some dry brushing just to give it that dirty, dark look. Just beautiful. Just really great accessories that they gave us with this figure. Like I said, it's nothing crazy, but it does fit kind of what you need or would expect for the figure. You also get, which I unfortunately didn't see it first, it was in a bag underneath, but you get these red lightning effects, which are nice soft plastic. As you can see, they have an elasticity to them, and you can kind of just place them as you please around the figure. Obviously, some are bigger than others, you know, fit in different places, whether it's around the trunk of the figure, the legs, the forearms, the shoulders, the biceps. And with that, you get 5 of these lightning pieces, each one different. Really good, though. They look, when you put all this together with the lightning, the bats, it's just, it looks incredible all together. All right, getting started into size comparisons. As you can see, this Red Death Batman is a little bit smaller than the previous figures that we got from UPF or LPZZ. There is definitely a height difference. It might not be as noticeable on the camera, but it is very noticeable when you have them in person. So this Arkham Batman is obviously a lot taller than the Red Death. Same with the Deathstroke here. They are not part of the same line. You know, this is not part of the Dark Knight's Metal line, whereas this one is. So I'm assuming anything within the Dark Knight's Metal line will kind of be of the same height and of the same sizing, whereas anything that we get from them of the Arkham line, you know, maybe those future Hush figures that they've shown off are going to be maybe a little bit bigger or part of their own sizing, which, you know, depending on how you view it, can kind of be a bummer, you know, if you want to mix and match different things. But overall, I think it's not that big of a deal. So this is like almost like a true 6-inch figure, where a lot of people were saying these are kind of close to the 7-inch figure. I don't think these are 7-inch figures, really. They're just a little bit bigger, if anything, you know, not too big of a deal. So just to give you some size comparisons, put it up with other things. You know, I'm just grabbing what I have offhand. Don't judge me too harshly here, but this is the Daima Piccolo. So you can see these are right at that same height with each other. So if you have any of those Daima figures, you know, they're maybe a little bit smaller. I would say the Piccolo kind of is right in size with previous Piccolo figures. So height-wise, I think it's great. I think it's a true 6-inch figure. I don't think it's too big, too small. Kind of just what you need, if you haven't heard that before. But anyways, I really do like this figure overall. I think you could hit some great poses with it. The articulation is great. I mean, just getting into a run, you know, without even trying is like pretty easy with the figure. You know, it moves around well. You can see I just pulled that hand off pretty easily. But that's actually a good thing, is just swapping things out is relatively simple with the figure. You know, of course not on camera, but when you're actually doing it. But you can see getting into a running pose with this thing is pretty simple, and it looks good. There's depth to it. You get great articulation out of the head and neck, so you can hit deep running poses if you want. You get that great ab crunch, great leg movement. You can go back pretty good with the legs. So, you know, if you want a nice deep sprinting run, you can really get that. So, all right, guys, that just about wraps it up. Went through the articulation, accessories, size comparisons. Overall, I would say this figure is a 9 out of 10 for what they were going for. Great articulation, great look, great scaling, really good attention to detail, really good paint work, just everything you could kind of ask for. UPF has delivered so far. I know that a lot of people like to point out UPF and InArt are kind of going back and forth. I do have the InArt Arkham Batman on the way, should be here soon, so I'll definitely be doing a comparison video and a review video of that. So I want to say thank you, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You can also give me a follow on Instagram. I'll be doing a full post of some good posing, well, you know, as good as I can do, some posing work, and enjoy the photos.